So I was hoping I would never have to make one of these types of videos again, but here I am, still having issues with my health problem. Still stuck in the same apartment. Not that I'm complaining about the apartment, but still stuck with the same old girly decorative flower couches because I can't get out enough and be healthy enough to be able to work so I can sell these and give the money to my parents, my mom, my stepdad, since actually borrowing them from them. And I told them in the past that when I was optimistic and healthier that I would sell them and get my own furniture. But last time I made a video was 2 Tuesdays ago, and that was on, well, it wasn't 2 Tuesdays ago when I made the video, but it was October 2nd. I was talking about my second to last trip to the ER, and it's Sunday, October 7th now, and this past Thursday I was in the ER again. The second to last time is because I got extremely dizzy and almost collapsed from playing just a little bit of basketball, and this time it was most likely because of wherever it went. It's in my bag. Withdrawal symptoms from my medication, diazepam. I'll show you that. I got a hold of this, seems to be the most popular patient handbook available on the internet for free. It's called the Ashton Manual, and it's on benzo.org.uk. Benzodiazepines, how they work and how to withdraw, by Professor C. Ashton. She's from, just like it says, UK, United Kingdom, where I happen to spend the first years of my life. And she ran a benzodiazepine withdrawal clinic for years, and doctor, and I believe she's still a professor, so she's got a lot of knowledge about that class of medications. And here's one withdrawal schedule for diazepam. I was actually switching from clonazepam to diazepam, and this schedule was mathematically written up for 1.5 milligrams of clonazepam, and then I really suck at math, so I had to cross out and check my math a couple times. I haven't taken math since 2012 now, and it's been since 2001, since my sophomore year of honors geometry. So yeah, recommends dropping down every 1 to 2 weeks based on how you feel, and I was going more towards the aggressive 1 week part. And on top of that, throughout this handbook, it says to not only take 2 weeks if you feel like you need to, but on top of that, if you feel like you're having too many withdrawal symptoms, then you can stop at a certain taper period and take longer if you need to, until you feel comfortable again. And that slow and steady wins the race, and the point is to try and have least amount of withdrawal symptoms as possible, if any at all, which claim that like 50% of patients during all these trials were able to obtain that. It's only 50-50 though. As you can see, my bedroom kind of mirrors how I've been feeling lately. Should actually look worse. Actually, a few days ago I had started to organize and clean up. I had like about more clothes than this on the ground that I need to put away, and this is build up of clean clothes that just are on the ground that I'd be tired and want to lay down. So just a lot of times I would already be laying down and then just throw them on the ground instead of getting up to hang it back up, because life has been made boring because of my health, because don't get out much, so I'm stuck inside a lot, so I just get bored of doing the same routine of hanging clothes up over and over again. So I just sometimes make a pile and then do it all at once. And then I used to have all my shoes over here, if you watched any previous videos, and I made the attempt to at least pair them together, add them all in one big pile. And I have huge size 17 feet, so they're taking up just a couple handful of pairs, take up a huge amount of floor space. If I still had every pair of size 17 since I wore that pair back in high school, it would probably take up like half my bedroom floor. But yeah, about my health, basically what happened was I was withdrawing too quickly since I was like religiously tapering down every 9 days, and during like the first part of the taper period when you were still on 3 and then down to 2 days for your dose, you had to drop it said go ahead and drop 2 milligrams each time. And then once you got down to, and then it says, it gets you down to like once per day, which I guess, it's been a while since I read about it, but I guess diazepam, the operating name for Valium, is has such a long half-life. I think it's like either 100 or 200 hour half-life. Like I said, I'm bad at math, so whatever 24 hours times 8.3 is. I just remember the days at 8.3 half-life. So yeah, that's, wow. Yeah, it's more like 200. Anyways, a couple weeks ago I was noticing I was having withdrawal symptoms, and they weren't as bad as when I tried to withdraw off of clonazepam, like semi-slow pace, like small increments every 7 days, which is a bad idea, by the way. Never do that. Always switch to diazepam unless you want to be like strapped down in a psych ward and given anti-seizure medication to stop you from having seizures, because that's what's going to happen if you try to withdraw off of clonazepam directly and not very slowly. Diazepam is supposed to, if you withdraw off the diazepam slow enough, since it has a longer lifespan, it's not supposed to give you seizures or what I went through the other day. But if you withdraw too fast, it happens. What happened was I was ignoring my withdrawal symptoms. I just assumed that they were going to go away, because the handbook can give you that impression. It does say as you taper down, you're supposed to feel like a veil is being lifted over your head, your face, and everything's supposed to get brighter and everything's supposed to come back to life and you're supposed to feel happy. And non-anxious and non-depressed and want to get back to life and make goals for yourself and do things. And so some withdrawal symptoms that were snowballing over a couple weeks or more were dizziness, near faint feeling, which is actually probably related, a whole nother health problem I have, blood circulation, possibly some form of dysautonomia, but I'll talk about that later again. But withdrawal effects as they were building up from the diazepam withdrawal were those, and blurry vision, a little bit of nausea. Gosh, I might have to pull out the list just to even remember. That's one thing. Short-term memory loss, and some other vision problems like I'm experiencing now. Like it's almost, I've tested like negative for seizures in the past, but I wouldn't mind taking another test because it's kind of like I briefly, it's kind of like everything kind of briefly goes black for a second, almost like fell asleep for a split second. That's like the definition of some forms of epilepsy. You almost don't even realize they're happening, but I don't know, maybe I'm just blinking too much, or blinking sporadically, and I'm overthinking what's happening. Gosh. Let's see if I can find it without stretching this video out too much. It's a problem I was telling one of my old semi-close friends, Sean, from way back in high school, today on Facebook, about the fact that he's actually told me himself in the past, I just blabber on and on, and I may end up making long ass videos, but it's kind of like a video diary, so why not just go into detail about things. Alright, see, some of these were the side effects I was having building up. I was having it wasn't until recently, before I went to the ER, before I had a huge psychological episode, I was having nightmares, and I even woke up from a dead sleep. Well, maybe not a dead sleep, might have been having a nightmare before too, but just woke up for no reason at all. Definitely increased anxiety and panic attacks. I'm guessing that agoraphobia is the same thing as social phobia, where you're afraid to be around people. I don't know, since they're next to each other. I'm not afraid of people, but I'm afraid of my symptoms, so that stops me from being around people. I have definitely been having perceptual distortions. This is one of the worst symptoms, depersonalization. That's where you feel like you're not even in your own body. You feel like you're almost like a spirit trapped. The best way I can describe it is you only feel like you're halfway conscious of your own reality and everything. It almost feels like you're watching a videotape of someone else's life, and you're not even in control. Haven't had any hallucinations, kind of iffy. I guess not really. Haven't really had misperceptions either. I've had major depression. If I have obsessions, I don't know if they're really obsessions, but I have habits. when I do try to get out, like right now, the two of my neighbors that had their wireless unsecured, one of their signals completely disappeared. They might have gotten a different router, because I noticed that when one disappeared, shortly after a new wireless name popped up. So I don't know if that was just a coincidence and someone else moving in, and then creating a secure connection, and then the final person to have an open wireless connection. They finally got smart, or maybe so many people were mooching off their wireless that it was bogging them down from their own internet bandwidth, that they finally learned how to turn on their WEP security, which if my old computer was working right now, and if I had an older model wireless antenna is compatible with a program I have, it's called AeroWizard, I could easily run AeroWizard, install a driver into the wireless antenna, and then AeroWizard, and within 10 to 20 minutes it can find out the password for a WEP signal, which is like old school Wi-Fi security. They've had like at least 3 or 4 standard like public security encryptions. But anyways, enough about the whatever it's called. See, here I am having short-term memory loss. Can't even think of the right word. The temptation to crack my multiple neighbors' Wi-Fi's, because I do have 2 or 3 that have the old school WEP. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, as far as obsessions, they're not really obsessions, it's habits I have, because I don't get out much. Because I don't have the internet, one of the first things I like to do is use the internet. Use the internet for a lot of things, so naturally go to the library. I don't have a laptop, so can't really find a friend to haul a laptop over to their place. So I had to settle for the library, and that's a good 2-mile bike ride, and there and back is enough to make me dizzy and not want to get out and do much more. And yeah, so I go to the library a lot, so I guess you have to look deeper into that, whether that's an obsession. Paranoid thoughts. I guess I get paranoid about my health. I've experienced so many near faint episodes and anxiety attacks in the last 2.5 years. I guess I get paranoid about the fact that I'm probably going to keep experiencing more. So kind of builds on itself. Haven't had rage, aggression, or irritability. Kind of wish I would. It's better than I'd rather experience that, without it getting too out of control, than depression. Definitely, obviously, poor memory and concentration. I couldn't even remember the word temptation a minute ago. Intrusive memories. I'm guessing that's bad memories that you focus on. Oh no, not that. Craving. No. I think that's why it has the word rare next to it. Alright, physical symptoms. Let's see. Today was actually the first day I had, in the longest time, I had a minor headache, but probably coincidence. Probably doesn't have anything to do with my withdrawal because it started getting cold here in Central Ohio. It was just 88 like 3 or 4 days ago, and then it dropped down to like 55 2 days later. But that is actually typical fall Ohio weather for you, Central Ohio. Pain, stiffness. So yeah, since it says teeth, I was gonna say headache could be caused by the fact I haven't had my upper wisdom teeth taken out. And I apologize, by the way, for like shaking the camera and the paper. Haven't had any tingling. Well, I guess I had like one day where I had a semi-bad anxiety attack and had the standard numbness of extremities. Weakness, not really. Fatigue. Fatigue, definitely. It's like I'm trying to like exercise more and more, and it's like I'm getting more and more out of shape. It's a long video so far, and I'm a little dehydrated, but I'm getting fatigued just standing up. And so it makes me wonder how the heck am I ever gonna handle ever doing it like stand-up 8-hour job ever again. No muscle twitches and the other stuff. Tremor, I've had tremors a couple of times recently with bad anxiety attacks. Definitely have dizziness, lightheadedness, poor balance, blurred vision. Definitely kind of having that right now. Tinnitus, can't even remember what that is. Hypersensitivity, maybe just a little bit to light and sound. Probably sound more than anything. Like a lot of times I'll be listening to music and it'll be a great song and make me want to turn it up, and other times same exact song, either gotta turn it down or turn it off. This one is kind of up in the air. Nausea. Had a little bit of that the past 3 days, but I also, it could be due to the fact that I had leftover Mexican dip and could have been a little spoiled. The only time I had difficulty swallowing was when I went to the ER the other day, this past Thursday. I was having such bad symptoms, whatever was happening to me, and anxiety attack on top of that paramedics were suggesting I take some of my medication if I needed to. And I couldn't even swallow like one small tablet. So I remember the off-brand diazepam I have is not recommended at all. It tastes horrible if you have to like chew it up, try and swallow it. Clonazepam I used to take, you could do that, even though after a while it would like irritate your throat a little bit. But this stuff just tastes absolutely nasty. I've had loss of appetite and weight change for a while now. I was all the way down below 170. Last week I made it back up to 185, and now I'm probably borderline 178 to 180 now. Dry mouth. I only get dry mouth if I actually let myself get dehydrated. I have had flushing and sweating, not so much palpitations, over-breathing, yes. Definitely that. Part of an anxiety attack. Um, Sometimes even when I'm not having an attack, I think I overbreathe. It's kind of like an OCD thing. One of the worst OCD things is to have, which I'm going to try not to focus on too much so I don't start thinking about it again, but when you manually have to think about every single breath you take instead of it being the natural phenomenon that it is, that your body just does, I have had problems with that before, and it's like one of the worst experiences in the world, because it's kind of like someone just sitting there like tapping you over and over and over and over again, because you just have to think about each breath all day long. And it doesn't go away until you go to sleep. Alright, urinary, no, yet none of that. Skin rashes, it's not really a rash, I guess it doesn't fit, but I might as well bring it up. Not sure. Well, if I get in the light, it'll probably pop up. In my head, I have under the skin inner pore breakout called folliculitis, and it only happens under and where the pores where your hair follicles are located. So that's why you only get acne underneath your hair. And I took I think it's like a week worth of I can't remember the medication name, but it was medication for that. It went down a lot, but then saw my doctor shortly afterwards, and he didn't bring it up that I should continue taking it since it didn't go down completely. And then I had like this thing, it could have been a coincidence. I had gotten a good amount of dress clothes, and they were like in storage in one of my parents' garages, exposed to who knows what in the air for a while. I didn't know that they were stored in the garage. I thought they were like bagged up and stored indoors, like in the house. So I like wore this one dress shirt, and I remember like both my upper shoulders, I broke out in these like red bumps, and then the next day they had like white heads on them, and it like started spreading the next day, and then like the part of my upper arm started going away, and then from like here to here on both my arms, they same thing, like spread down to that area of my arm, and so I think I just had an allergic reaction to whatever was on that dress shirt. Don't think it was acne caused by medication to get rid of acne, because I didn't break out anywhere else. Right, gonna go ahead and stop for now.